The global aviation industry, once a symbol of cooperation, is now a battleground for national ambitions and strategic rivalries. The Western duopoly of airframe and engine makers faces a new challenge, a deepening partnership between Russia and China. The recent US ban on engine sales to China exposed the West's leverage, but also pushed Beijing and Moscow closer in their quest for technological sovereignty. For both, building an independent aerospace sector is about national security and breaking free from Western control over critical technologies. The EU's alarm at Russia aiding China's C919 program highlights the high stakes. Technological supremacy is on the line. The old model of globalized supply chains is under strain, as political decisions in Washington or Brussels can now halt production in Shanghai overnight. This has forced a strategic rethink, especially in the global south, about the reliability of Western-dependent supply chains. Moscow and Beijing are crafting a narrative of resilience, aiming to create a multipolar world order, even in the skies. The fusion of Russian engine expertise with China's industrial might could break the Western stranglehold, if they can overcome daunting technological and certification barriers. The world is watching. Will this new axis reshape the aerospace map, or will the West's lead prove insurmountable? The COMAC C919 is more than an airplane, it's the centerpiece of China's ambition to rival the West in advanced manufacturing. Despite its modern design and national pride, the C919's core systems, especially its CFM LEAP 1C engine, are Western-made. The 2025 US export ban on these engines halted C919 production, exposing China's vulnerability and dependence on foreign technology. This crisis accelerated China's push for an indigenous engine, the CJ1000A, but delays have pushed its debut to 2030. Russian assistance now appears as a tempting shortcut, offering China a way to secure its supply chain and ramp up production. Hundreds of C919s are on order, but their future hinges on breaking free from Western control. A partnership with Russia could provide a crucial interim solution, or at least speed up China's technological progress. The C919 story is a paradox, a symbol of China's rise, yet a reminder of its remaining dependencies. The Russia-China Aerospace Alliance is a marriage of necessity, forged by Western sanctions and trade restrictions. Russia brings deep engine expertise but lacks capital and market access. China has vast resources and manufacturing power, but lags in engine know-how. The US export ban on C919 engines made clear that this technological gap is a strategic Achilles heel for China. By joining forces, Russia and China aim to build a self-sufficient ecosystem, insulated from Western pressure. For Russia, it's a lifeline. For China, a shortcut to leapfrog years of R&D. The West fears this partnership could accelerate China's engine development, creating a formidable new competitor. This alliance turns isolation into opportunity, signaling that if the West tries to contain them, they'll break out together. It's a bold move to challenge the very industries the West seeks to control. At the heart of this collaboration are China's C919 airframe and Russia's PD-14 engine. The PD-14, Russia's most advanced civil engine, powers the Irkut MC-21 and represents a leap in Russian technology. Integrating the PD-14 onto the C919 would require major engineering changes, but the strategic payoff could be immense. It would free the C919 from Western dependence, transforming it into a symbol of a new, non-Western aerospace ecosystem. The LEAP 1C still outperforms the PD-14 in fuel efficiency and reliability, but the PD-14 offers supply chain security. For China, the trade-off is clear: some efficiency for independence. More than an engine swap, this partnership could mean deep technology transfer, accelerating China's own CJ1000A program. Russian engineers could help China master advanced metallurgy and control systems, de-risking its domestic engine efforts. The PD-14 could serve as both a stopgap and a stepping stone for China's long-term ambitions. This collaboration is about more than engines, it's about shifting the balance of power in global aviation. The jet engine market is a fortress, dominated by a handful of Western giants with decades of experience and massive R&D budgets. Developing a new engine costs billions and requires mastering complex technologies like single-crystal turbine blades and advanced composites. Access to critical design software is often restricted by Western export controls, adding another layer of difficulty. The Russia-China alliance aims to break through these barriers by pooling resources. China's financial muscle and Russia's engineering know-how. Russia is one of the few outside the West to master key manufacturing techniques, giving China a fast track to catch up. Yet the biggest hurdle remains certification and trust. For global acceptance, engines must be certified by international bodies, a process as political as it is technical. Airlines are risk-averse, preferring proven engines with global support networks. Building that reputation takes decades, and the new alliance is just beginning this journey. The challenge isn't just making engines, it's convincing the world to fly with them. The Western aerospace giants now face a credible long-term threat from the Russo-Chinese bloc. Boeing, Airbus, and their engine partners still dominate, but the new alliance is forcing a strategic rethink. The West's initial response, export bans and tighter controls, may have backfired, accelerating China's drive for self-sufficiency. Innovation remains the Western edge, with billions invested in next-gen engines and sustainable tech. But relying solely on technology isn't enough. Political and commercial strategies are now in play. The alliance also tests Western unity, as national interests may diverge over how to respond. The integrated Western ecosystem is its greatest strength, but if cracks appear, challengers could exploit them. The duopoly's dominance is no longer guaranteed. A viable Russo-Chinese aerospace offering could reshape global aviation, especially in Asia, Africa, and Latin America. For decades, airlines in these regions had little choice but to buy from Boeing or Airbus, often with political strings attached. The C919, especially with a non-Western engine, could appeal to price-sensitive carriers and those seeking strategic autonomy. Geopolitics will increasingly influence fleet decisions, with some nations viewing Chinese aircraft as a statement of independence. China's Belt and Road strategy could extend to aircraft sales, targeting key carriers in emerging markets. The result may be a split market, Western jets dominating established routes, Chinese jets rising in developing regions. This would erode the Western manufacturers' market share and force them to compete harder on price and financing. The comfortable era of duopoly pricing may be ending. The aviation market is set to become more fragmented, competitive, and multipolar. By 2030, the aerospace industry is heading for a fundamental realignment. The Russo-Chinese alliance could establish a credible third force, challenging Western dominance in both narrow and wide-body markets. Competing technological ecosystems will emerge, one led by the US and Europe, the other by China and Russia. Separate regulatory spheres may develop, with Chinese-certified aircraft accepted in allied nations, creating a parallel to the FAA ESA system. Airlines will face new complexities but also more competition and leverage. Growth in emerging economies will drive the fiercest battles for market share. The EU's outrage signals that the old certainties are dissolving. The industry is now on the front line of a global power shift. The skies of tomorrow will reflect a world that is contested, competitive, and multipolar.